Good morning friends. Today we will see the refraction through prism. You know, a prism, it has two triangular surface and three rectangular surfaces. Okay, like this. We have it. See, two triangular surfaces and one, two and three. Three rectangular surfaces. Okay. See, when we take the refraction through the rectangular surfaces, then the angle between two rectangular surface like this is called the angle of prism. So when we draw the prism in a sectioned view, it will be looks like this. This is called the angle of prism. Say it is kept, this will be a base of the prism. So this is the BC become base of the prism, and we see how the refractions takes place in a prism. See, we are taking the glass prism. Okay, the glass prism. Generally, the prism angle will have the different values. We can have the prism of 30 degree, we can have the prism of 45 degree. Okay, that is called the total reflecting prism also, and we have the prism of 60 degree. That is called the equilateral triangle prism. So we have a equilateral prism here. See, this is a denser medium. So we take a ray incident on the prism. The ray is incidenting from the air. So you know, when the ray incident, okay, it comes rare medium to denser medium, it moves towards the normal. Okay, here it moves towards the normal. So we draw the normal here. The ray is moved towards the normal. Instead of going in this path, it moves towards the normal. Suppose the PQ is the incident ray and it makes an angle I. Okay, see, in a denser medium it moves towards the normal, and whatever the angle it meets with the normal in a denser medium, here this will be the angle of refraction. Say it is R1. Okay, this is the previous path of the ray when it is in a same medium. Just see, PQ is the incident ray and it moves towards the normal. QR is the ray which is in a denser medium. Now the ray is the ray will suffer refraction one more time. Since it's coming from denser medium to rarer medium. The ray is coming from denser medium to rarer medium. Then what will happen? So it move away from the normal. See, the ray which is inside the denser medium, now it comes out. Now again it suffers refraction, and when it comes out denser medium to rarer medium in the air, it moves away from the normal. So just see here, the ray is moving away from the normal. Suppose R2 is the angle of incident here. I am putting the name R2, okay, and this is the angle it makes with the normal at the outside. That is called the angle of emergence. So we will call this PQ is the incident ray, QR is the refracted ray, and RS, that is the emergent ray. Is it clear, children? Now see, PQ is the incident ray, QR refracted ray, RS that is the emergent ray. Okay, see the angle I, it is made by the incident ray with the normal. So here N1 and N2 N1 is a normal. Okay, so normal in this surface AB is N1, and normal in this surface AC is N1 N2. This is the normal. Okay, Normal makes 90 degree with the surface of AB as well as of incident. R1 and R2, angle of refraction. See, on surface 1 and surface 2, E we can have angle of emergence. A, that is called angle of prism. See, what is angle of prism? So, angle of prism is the angle between two refracting surfaces of the prism. So, it is also called refracting angle. Now, one more thing, just see. If you make the initial incident ray PQ, its path is here, it is shown with the dotted line, the break line, and the final emergent ray RS is moving like this. Okay, so there will be one angle between the incident ray and final emergent ray. Just see, this is. When we trace its path back, you will observe there is a one angle. Just see here. This is the angle. It is shown by Greek letter delta. Delta is called angle of deviation. Angle of deviation. See, what is the angle of deviation? So we can define the angle between initial incident ray and the final emergent ray is called angle of deviation. Up to here it is clear. So we have considered a prism on which I took one ray which incident at an angle I with a normal at a surface AB, and the refraction takes place and the ray is suffering refraction. It's coming from rarer medium to denser medium. It moves towards the normal N1 and it makes an angle R1 here. Clear? So when we apply the law of refraction here, means very easily we can have one, according to law of refraction we can write that sine of I to that of sine of R1 will be the refractive index of this medium. You can get this. Angle of incident is I. Refractive index of this denser medium means the medium of the prism is suppose mu. So we can write this equation, okay, anytime whenever it is required. But our target is to find the relation between the prism angle and angle of deviation. Okay, along with R1, R2, I and E. So that derivation is very much important. Now just see one quadrilateral AQN1R. This is one quadrilateral AQN1R. Here the QN1 is a normal. Okay, so this AQN1 is 90 degree. This is a 90 degree. Similarly, ARN1 is also 90 degree. So right angle. So the sum of all the four angle of a quadrilateral, you know, it is a 360 degree. Okay, so here two angle is 90 degree. AQN1 is 90, ARN1 is also 90. So 90, 90, 180, and the sum of A and N1, these two angle will be 180, because the sum of all these four angle is equal to 360. So in a later, AQN1R. In this quadrilateral, just see angle AQN1 is equal to angle ARN1, and that is right angle. Okay, both the angles are right angle because it is normal. So we can write, hence the sum of angle QN1R plus A, that will be 180 degree, and hence you will get angle QN1R is equal to 180 degree minus A. This is the equation number 1. So I am writing A directly here because we took that as a prism angle. Okay. Angle QN1 is equal to 180 degree minus A. Is it clear? Now just see, we have it in a triangle. In triangle QN1R. You know the sum of interior angle of any triangle is equal to 180 degree. So we will use this concept here. So we will get the sum of interior angle here. We will get the angle R1 plus angle R2 plus angle QN1R. That is equal to 180 degree. Sum of all the interior angle of this triangle QN1R, this sum of this triangles is equal to, angle of the triangle is equal to 180 degree. Now just put the value of QN1R from equation 1. What shall you get? Put this value. Okay, 180 minus A here. Here, what shall we get? R1 plus R2, 180 minus A is equal to 180 degree. Okay, here 180 degree, both sides it will be cancelled out, means subtracted. So you will get R1 plus R2 is equal to A. This is very important result. Okay, just see here the sum of two angles which is made inside the prism. Whatever the name, we can give some other name also. In some of the problem the name is given alpha beta, in some of the problem it will be given whatever. The sum of these two interior angle which is made inside the prismatic triangle. Okay, triangle of the prism means R1 plus R2 here I took. Their sum will be always be equal to angle of prism. So whatever the type of prism, it holds good. Means this is a one kind of theorem you can say. It will be applicable whatever the kind of prism. Means always there will be R1 plus R2 is equal to A. Clear? Now we proceed further. We need some. Now just see. We'll put one more name here. Here, say M. M is the point where the incident ray and final emergent ray are meeting. See, these two rays are meeting at point M. So just see in this triangle. In triangle QMR. QMR. This is very, just see in this triangle. In this triangle, angle delta, this angle of deviation is the exterior angle. Okay, you have studied the theorem. If you find the exterior angle of any of the triangle, just see we have a triangle. When you just calculate this exterior angle, the exterior angle, its value is the sum of other two interior angle. This angle will be equal to this plus this. Means this is the exterior angle, say E. So E will be equal to angle A plus angle B. Always, this is a theorem that you studied in the high school classes. Okay. So here we use this theorem. So angle of this deviation here, we can write, this is the sum of two interior angles. Okay, that is MQ N1 plus MR N1. Clear? Now see, what is angle MQ N1? Just see the figure. Here the PQ ray is incident, and when you extend this ray here, so the see this angle MQN1, this angle will be equal to I. Okay, vertical opposite angle. Say if this is the incident ray, this angle will be equal to this, and here we have another ray. Okay, so this angle equal to this angle, and this is R1. So what about this angle, this one, and this is MQN1, this angle is MQN1. So we can write this angle is equal to I minus R1. Clear? Just see once again. This angle is I, this will also be I. Here, this small angle we have to calculate, this one. This small angle we can have MQN1, and this angle is equal to I minus R1. So here MQN1 is equal to I minus R1, and angle MRN1 is equal to E minus R2. Put this value here, hence you will get angle of deviation delta is equal to I minus R1 plus E minus R2. I minus R1 plus E minus R2. Now take R1 R2 together. Take the minus sign common, R1 plus R2. And just see from the equation 2, we have a R1 plus R2 is equal to A. So we'll get I plus E minus A is equal to delta. This is one of the most important relation. That is relating the angle of an incident with the prism angle as well as angle of deviation. Okay, we just see how can you relate the delta with I. The A is a constant for a particular, when you are taking a particular prism, its angle, prism angle is always constant. So as you increase the value of I, okay, when you increase the value of I, and you will observe there is a variation in angle of deviation. So how it varies, we will see. So practically, you have to do one practical also, that we will see in the practical session. Okay, there will be a very interesting and very useful practical is there. Means you have to make different angles of incident. Means you have to take the incident ray at a different angles, and you have to observe what is the deviation take place. You have to measure the angle of deviation for the different angle of incident. So you have to make about 7 to 8 observations in that. Means you have to take the angle of deviation for a 30-degree angle of incident, for I equal to 35 degree, then I equal to 40 degree, then I equal to 45 degree, then 50 degree, then 55 degree, then 60 degree, like this. So for a different angle of I, you have to observe the angle of deviation, and in that observation you will find see whatever the values of observation you got for a different angle of incident, angle of deviation. So we will plot a graph between the values of I and delta. So here we will show the values of I. Means you just thinking there, you start with a 30, 35 and so on, and you will find the values like delta. Initially when you increase the angle of incident, you will find the delta is decreasing. You will find the delta is decreasing, and at a particular value of angle of incident, you will get the least angle of deviation, and then again you increase the angle of incident, you will find the angle of deviation is increased. Okay, it take a parabolic graph like this. Okay, just see once again. On increasing the angle of incident, initially you will find the value of angle of deviation is decreasing, and in a particular value you will find minimum angle of deviation, and then when you further increase the value of I, you will observe that the angle of deviation is further increasing. Okay, so a particular value you will have the minimum angle of deviation. Okay, So in a minimum angle of deviation, what you observe here, one thing, when you have a minimum angle of deviation, then it is very easy. See, the angle of this is one of the symmetrical diagram. Not always, it happens only in a minimum angle of deviation. So when there is a minimum angle of deviation take place here, this is. In that case it happens. Means what is this? See, it a minimum angle of deviation in when the angle of deviation is minimum, in that case only I equal to E means angle of incident is equal to angle of emergent. Just see, in this figure it is not equal, but here it is equal, I equal to E. Okay. Also R1 equal to R2, and this RS ray is parallel to base. RS is parallel, this is parallel to this base. So this will happen when the minimum angle of deviation is occurred. Is it clear? Now, for a particular prism, it is difficult to observe the minimum angle of deviation. It depends upon its internal properties, means it depends upon its refractive index. Okay, so you have to take a different eye, and corresponding that you will find different angle of deviation, and plotting this graph you can get the minimum angle of deviation. So when you put these values in this equation number 3, and we have equation number 2. Okay, so we have observed we have R1 plus R2 equal to A. Okay, so when you put R1 equal to R2, say it is R. So we put here, you get 2R equal to A, and hence we get R equal to A by 2. Okay, and since I equal to E, this is what equation 2. Putting the value of I equal to E, I equal to E. I equal to E, we will have delta is equal to 2I minus A, means I equal to delta plus A by 2. I equal to delta plus A by 2. So you got R equal to A by 2, you got I equal to delta, that is a special delta, we can write minimum deviation. Okay, delta is delta n, not always, it happens only in a minimum angle of deviation, remember. So A plus delta m by 2. When you put these two values in a main equation, means you can get the refractive index. See, earlier we have seen that mu is equal to sin I upon sin R. So we get mu of this medium is equal to sin I, means A plus delta m by 2 divided by sin A by 2. This is the formula by which you can get the refractive index of the prism. Okay, see, in this relation we need a and delta m. So when you have a prism, so geometrically you can measure A, or there is a one practical method is also that we will discuss later on. So you can measure geometrically A, and by observation you can get delta m. But getting A delta m, you can find the mu. Mu is the refractive index of the material of the prism. Okay, it depends upon the material. Clear? Thank you.